Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Slasher Movie Club, Monday nights. I'm here
Yeah,
with the lovely Miss Coriander. What's going on, girl?
not much.
Why
How are
you
you
laughing?
doing?
I'm
I
doing
just
good.
love how you have that, chick from Tourist Trap right there screaming.
That's right, man. Well, you know
Yeah,
how it is. We kind of
yeah.
keep some of the memories of our past episodes. And Coriander, you just gave me the best segue of all time because if we're going to be talking about past episodes, and for you guys in the live chat, I'm going to get to you guys in a second. Obviously, tonight we have a special guest that has come from a past episode, and
Yeah.
it's just to be quite honest, this is probably one of the coolest things that we've ever had happen on our small YouTube channel. For
Mhm.
you guys that have been following us on Monday nights, we talked about a movie a couple months ago, a small little
Yeah.
movie that we had found from our trusty handbook, the roadmap for this series, the Teenage
Yes.
Slasher movie book.
I
And
should have grabbed my copy, but shit.
I
It's
know
right
you
over
got
there, but I
I
have
know
it.
I know you got your copy, girl, because this
Yeah.
is what we're using for
Hmm.
this wonderful series, which is a passion project. But we talked about a little movie with a name that really stood out when we were writing our list, as we were compiling our list of movies that
Hmm.
we talk about, and we do that every several weeks. And it was a
Yep.
movie called Murder Loves Killers 2.
Yeah.
Now, we had no clue what we were getting into. And in that episode, and it was actually a
Hmm.
really cool episode and a lot of great engagement from the audience. But
Hmm.
we came out of this thing saying, wow, that was all right,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
anyways, let me bring on our special guest who's with us, the director of Murder Loves Killers 2, and also Rondo, which we'll talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah.
Let's bring him in. Here's Mr. Drew Barnhardt.
Hello, Nightwatch Zone community. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you guys.
Wow,
Yeah.
man. This is just
Right?
this is cool
Sorry.
stuff, man. It's cool
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
cool for me too. So,
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Um, so obviously, Drew, and we've had a chance to talk quite a bit, especially last night, and which
Nice.
is really, really cool. So first of all, just to say we appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us and also to
Hmm.
hang out with our live audience. And yeah, it really does mean a lot to us.
well, and like I was saying to Knight and Coriander earlier when we were first meeting, I want to thank you guys for just being so cool. When I found a friend sent me the episode on MLKT, and I got a real kick out of it because at first I was ready for like, oh man, they're just gonna be dunking on the low budget movie, that kind of thing. But then I saw you guys have a real sincere and genuine appreciation for just movies in general, and it comes across. And I saw the same from you guys
Mhm.
in the comments and stuff, and thought it was awesome. So I reached out tonight. It was like, thanks, man, and
Yeah.
we started
That's
chatting, and here
cool.
we are.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, real quick, I want to just say hi to the folks in the chat, and then we'll get going on this thing. I see all you guys. First of all, blanket hello to everyone, but of course, Russell's in the chat. Russell's always ride or die, hanging out with us. We
Hmm.
love it. Nathan, Jason, Oracle, a lot of our usual suspects.
Nice.
My man Ronan is in the chat. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. And look, man, here's one of our inner circle committee members, Mr. Dan himself.
Yeah.
When I spoke to Dan about this, about you coming on, Drew, and Dan is a fantastic friend and a content creator himself.
Hi, Dan.
He was psyched. He was
Yeah.
psyched.
Really?
I was
Someone is
like,
psyched to hear from me.
hey, man. Well, we just
Aw.
appreciate film. We
Yeah.
we appreciate
Yeah.
filmmakers
Right
and
on.
people on both sides of it. So,
Hmm.
um,
Cool, Dan.
yeah. What's up, Polar and Conrad and our good friend also Ginger Ninjas in the chat? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Hey.
All right. And Denisha, wow, you guys are coming out and
Nice.
we really appreciate the support. Neil, our good friend from Neon Black Reviews, also a huge film buff, especially with
Yeah.
slashers and giallo. Absolutely. Good to see you too, man. And I think I caught everyone. Katie's in the chat. Yes, yes, yes.
Hey. Nice.
Uh, and of course, Ninja taking care of business in the chat, saying, don't forget to show some love
Hmm.
to the Night Watch Zone by liking and sharing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you never know. some of these videos get back to certain people like it did to Drew. This is like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've been trying to sort of work my way through. I was just asking Knight which back episodes I should be going and checking out. I've already like watched Dress to Kill because that's my one of my favorite movies ever, and I watched the one you guys did just the other day where you talked about Christine McVeigh and God, what's the other one? I've watched a few and I've loved them all. So right on.
Yes, very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Miss C? And also
Hello.
Dre. Hey, glad to see you guys here. Glad to see you guys. And
Yeah.
Extron. Wow.
Nice.
You guys are all right. I can't even keep up with the chat. You guys know how this goes. I'll try to keep up with the chat, but I may not get to everyone. Jason saying, hey, Night and Coriander, Russell as well,
Hello.
Nathan as well. Wow. All right. Jeez. Russell said Tourist Trap was crazy, wasn't it? It really was.
It's a fun one. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. And Polar saying so cool. I know, right? This is great. Hey to Nikki. Nikki's in the chat. Hello from Kansas City. Hey, how's it going?
Wow.
Skull Crusher as well. What's up, Skull Crusher? Nice to see
Hello.
you too. Yes. Sarah in the chat, of course. One of our good friends.
Hello. Yep.
How's it going? All right.
And Neon Black, I will be watching The Prowler.
Yeah. Hey, look, let me just
Nice. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Neil, I love you, bro. And it's funny because I told Drew, and
we were just talking about it.
Yep, we were backstage. He says, "Okay, what episode should I watch?" And I did say The Prowler, and I name dropped you, Neil, because I know.
Nice.
But no, seriously, Neil is fantastic. He's such a great film veteran, film buff, and I really love his insight. So he's so funny. That's great. Oh my God. Hey RJ, what's going on? Okay, and Omni. All right, and Melissa. All right, you guys are all right. So, Drew, let's just start with you. We had a couple of questions. I know Coriander had a couple of questions, and I'm gonna put some of these up. And for any of you guys in the live chat, feel free to throw some questions out as well. We definitely appreciate it, and also for Drew. But where did your passion for film, is there a particular place that it started for you that led you on this path?
Oh boy, so young. I think my folks got me my first camera, like one of those giant Panasonic deals, probably back around when I was 5 or 6. And like that day I was making my own version of Creepshow, I think. And then and the next day it was like my version of Death Wish. I was already like a pretty movie warped kid even before I got the camera. So you start out making like sequels of or knockoffs of your favorite movies, just sort of imitating and that kind of thing. And I was just looking last night at one of the oldies from, God, this is dating me, but it was Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, before there was a Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Wow.
I was cracking up at that. So the slasher thing came on pretty early too, like around the same time. But I'm just a total movie buff, any genre.
Nice.
Amateur film historian, whatever. So
yeah, very, very cool. Well, Coriander, I'll let you throw out a couple of your questions too, because I also want to keep track of the folks in the chat, because I know we'll probably have a couple of things that we want to ask Drew.
Sure. I was just like curious what inspired you to write, Murder Loves Killers 2.
Oh, Murder Loves Killers 2. Well, the first was of purely practical nature since we didn't have any money, but we did have like a friend that offered to let us use their mountain house. And that obviously sounded like the perfect combination for a slasher. And so I wrote the script real fast. We shot it in 10 days because that's all the time we had, at the place, so it's just like a bam, bam, run and gun, type of a thing. And the idea was that slasher movies are so great. The subgenre is so great because everyone's so familiar with the formula, that you have room to riff on it, to be playful with it, switch things up, maybe put your personality into it. And the best slashers or my favorite slashers all just have some sort of different personality that sets them apart from just the straight formula that we all know. So, so it was just a fun subgenre to riff on, and yeah, something I could do with no money and cheaply. You don't need like big stars, and it doesn't require explosions and spaceships and stuff like that. So,
that's right.
The first inspiration was practical, but then obviously I have a love for the subgenre. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And also in murder, and of course we talked about this on our episode, so I'm sure some of this we mentioned in that episode, but you can obviously see um some of the inspirations or the nods. I mean, the first thing that we
Mm.
obviously notice is right off the bat with the narration, with the
Yeah.
voiceover. And as soon
Yep.
as I heard that, and I think I said it in the episode, I was like, man, this is like a riff on like TCM.
Sure,
I
sure,
mean,
sure.
it felt like that, but it was done in a way where it had like it was just unique, man. And like what some of our live audience won't hear is some of our conversation we had specifically last night, which gave me a lot of insight to you. And I think that that's what is really making me appreciate you even more, is that you have a passion for this and you're trying to come at it from a perspective where you're trying to freshen it up.
Yeah, totally.
And I can totally appreciate that, because and I'm sure that's can sometimes be a hard decision to make, because obviously there are a lot of people that, for whatever reason, and I'm not judging, but there are a lot of people that put a lot of things out that are very, you see it all the
A
time,
little more generic, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely. It's
and
yeah.
first of all, you're too kind for saying that. But as we were talking about, like the narration, for example, is one of my favorite movies ever. Is Stanley Kubrick's Barry Lyndon, and that
Mhm.
narration is like almost straight from that. It's done in that kind of Thackeray prose, which I thought was completely absurd to start a horror movie, a slasher movie, with that. But then the other
Right.
fun bit to joke with, like the slasher conventions, is it's also covering the crime in the past cliche.
Mm.
Yes.
The first Camp Blood or Michael killing his sister, that kind of thing. But the idea was to do it all just in that one shot of the road, where it says like some years ago, you have the narration, and then it says now, even though it's the same shot. So you
Yeah.
cover the crime in the past cliche, but you do it in a sort of kooky way. So.
Yeah, that part, that it's funny you say that, because when I saw that, I was kind of like, oh, okay. It was definitely like, again, it just puts you in a certain mindset. And I think we knew, I mean, Coriander, you can jump in and let me know if I'm correct, but I think we knew right from there that we were in store for something that was a little bit different, even though it was well-worn territory as far as being a slasher movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like throwing the gauntlet down of like, okay, this one's going to be a little bit different. This will be anything but generic. It's still going to have all your slasher beats, but we're going to mess with the structure a little bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was absolutely just, to me, that was
And
just
the
one of the
kills
things.
were fun.
Yeah,
They
for
were.
For you're saying low budget. I mean, they were pretty good.
yeah, for what
So
well, thanks, Coriander. But
yeah,
for the little money that we had, we tried to give each kill sort of its own sort of hook or whatever.
yeah,
Where it's
Mhm.
like we have the Argento sort of point of view style kill with the blonde, where you're the point of view of the knife, that goes into her gut,
hmm,
comes out, and goes into the mouth, all apparently in one shot, but I think there's a
yeah,
buried cut in there. But
Yes.
and then
hmm,
obviously the birthday thing, that's a pretty well-worn slasher chestnut, whether it's happy birthday to me or bloody birthday or
yeah,
whatever it is. We
yeah,
have our
Right.
birthday party thing. Big Stevie's 7th birthday apparently. and
Right. That
yeah,
was crazy.
and then of course the first, it's an off-screen kill, but the whole big long take at the beginning where she finally gets grabbed at the end of it, I thought that was a fun. I
Yes.
haven't seen many long takes in a slasher movie, so throw a little De Palma in there. Just
yeah,
again, just having fun with the beats of different slasher stuff. So
Right.
hmm,
so
Yeah.
without like having K and B or something, we tried to make each kill sort of fun.
Mhm.
yeah,
Absolutely. No, I think it was a heck of a job doing that, because that was one thing
Too
that
kind.
we did talk about is, man, the kills. Holy crap, man. It was some
yeah,
good stuff.
yep,
Russell, obviously one of our audience members that's around for quite a few of our episodes, saying that
hmm,
was a great movie, Murder Loves
Oh,
Killers 2.
right on, Russell.
Very
yeah,
cool. Very, very cool. Um,
Thanks for the support.
yeah,
hmm,
absolutely. Extron saying, Drew, who's your who's your favorite slasher horror icon?
Oh,
Ooh.
well, I mentioned how Barry Lyndon's one of my favorite movies of all time. My other that's a favorite movie of all time of any genre is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Toby Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I'd go with Leatherface.
nice,
I
There
just
you
nice,
love that
go.
he has he's got such an agenda that he has to take care of the house, and everything makes sense to him. And it's like, why do all these kids keep showing up? You could definitely see the internal
Right.
logic of Leatherface, and I feel for the big guy. He has the mind of a child, but
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Speaking of which, did you see the newer one that was on Netflix?
Which, God, there's been so many now.
It was I think
Was
it
it
came out earlier in the year.
2021? Yeah. Oh,
I
okay.
saw the last one, whichever one that is, the one where like they're having like an influencer party on a bus. That is that the one? Yeah,
Yep.
I saw
Yeah.
that one.
Yep.
And I saw the first remake, which was just awful to me. And then I mean, I hold Texas Chainsaw pretty near and dear to my heart, so I have an instant sort of negative reaction to any of the ones that aren't by Toby Hooper. I love part 2 as well. I'm a big part 2 fan. So.
Yeah. Did you think that after part 2, I mean, and trust me, I didn't even know we were going to be talking about TCM, but do you think that after part 2, they just kind of lost their way? Because I mean, it has so many sequels. It's got like
Yeah, they lost
8 or 9.
Toby. You know, they lost Toby Hooper, and what makes those stand out from anyone else's movies is Hooper's sense of humor. And I'm sure he's definitely talked about it, where when Chainsaw came out, it was so traumatic, you know, on its initial release that a lot of his humor was missed. You know, the internal logic of the family and all this stuff. And then of course he doubled down on that in part 2 to bring the humor right up, you know, into your face. But that's what's missing. So every one that isn't Toby just doesn't seem to really get the internal logic of the family, and that's what makes it so funny, and why I think those really endure.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, obviously they have held a place for a long time in horror movie history, no doubt.
And Toby has a really strong, point of view as a director, as a storyteller, and I don't think any of the other directors that did a Chainsaw really have anything close to that, to his point of view. So.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, especially with the original, like even to this day, and I remember the first time I watched it as a little kid, it just felt like an experience that I've rarely had with a horror movie. Like it felt real. It was gritty. It wasn't as gory as people always kind of think about.
As the title might imply. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much of a massacre, but it was so well executed. Your mind created.
Yeah, you didn't need the gore.
Right.
And not to bring it back to MLKT, but it's such a big inspiration that I also love. And you talk about TCM feeling real because you don't have all the melodrama. You know, the kids, what you learn about them are just in their normal conversation type stuff. You know, you're not getting, you know, that Judy came with Billy, but she has a secret crush on Bobby. You know, you're not getting any of that stuff, which I chose to completely omit from my movie. You know, once they get to the cabin, they get killed pretty quickly, so we don't have any of that melodrama. And some critics complain about that. They're like, well, we don't get to know any of the characters, so we don't care about them. I'm like, I'm fine with that. When's the last slasher movie you watched where you were so invested in the emotional drama of these idiotic teens that you got wrapped up in that? But no, it's true. Being, you know, that rubs some people the wrong way too, I guess. They need someone to hold on to, and that's fine, but just not my style. Murder Loves Killers 2 is more like the Starship Troopers of slasher movies. But
I like that. Yeah.
Just straight satire.
Yeah, it just gets right into it. And let me also get to, let's see who else we have in the chat. I thought I saw another question here. Conrad was saying, there's different ways that you can be creative with slasher films. That's why I love it. Absolutely, man. No doubt about that.
You get to smear your sense of humor all over it.
You do. Yeah. You really do. I mean, and there's a lot of creativity that you can have. And what's up to Jamie? Jamie's in the chat too, saying hello. All right. Neil is definitely a fan. He said, my man, TCM is the GOAT.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I agree.
I can't go against that. TCM is still to this day one of those movies that when I watch, it just
it's
perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Right from the opening all the way through, man. And geez. No. Anyways. Conrad saying a question for Drew. What is it about horror that you really gravitated towards?
You know, it'd be hard to say, you know, when I was just watching horror as a little kid, but yeah, I was in love with it from the beginning. When you're now, you know, making them, it's because it's a great genre for to be filmic, basically. You're telling a lot of the story with the camera, with sound, with music.
Yes.
It's a very cinematic genre. It doesn't require, we're not talking about, a Harold Pinter play or something. It's not, you get to use all the tools of cinema to whatever, create scares or laughs or what have you. And that's really exciting. I love that. I feel the same way about the thriller, like the Palmas films.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely agree with
And
that too.
that's just what gets me excited as both a movie watcher and when you're making them, is I love to see an active camera, an active music too, just something that is active in telling the story, not passive.
Absolutely, no doubt. And Dan was saying, interesting to see where Drew got his inspiration from. Yeah, it is really, really cool. It is.
I'm just
Kirby's
awesome.
right. Kirby saying hello, and Drew, nice to meet you, and
Nice
saying
to
hi
meet
to
you,
Coriander.
Kirby.
Hello.
All right, you guys are all right.
Thanks for everyone coming.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are all right. Nathan saying, my all-time favorite slasher is Alice, Sweet Alice. There's nothing like it to this day, for sure. A unique one. It does rely on the kills, more character base. Does not rely on the kills, more character base, which I really love. Yeah, Alice, Sweet Alice is definitely. We talked about. That's a good one to check out too, Drew. We had a really fun conversation. We had our good friend Dan on with us, who also is just a fantastic mind with film. And it really is one of those movies that, and I think I said this in the episode, Coriander, when we were watching it, which I've seen, obviously many times before, but it just takes you to a different place,
and it's shocking, and I like that too. Not too many movies are like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And that movie, that movie did that.
That one's a keeper.
Yeah, it really, really is. Speaking of which, how about if, because now we're talking about other movies too, and as we circle back to Murder Loves as well, and also I want to talk a little bit about Rondo, but Coriander, I'll start with you. Do you have any particular? I know you do, but how about if you just like give us some of the movies? Obviously, we're talking more specifically slashers, but some of the movies that really stand out for you, because you have a huge wealth of knowledge with the slasher subgenre.
I kind of went to town on the slashers. My favorites off the top of my head, Psycho 1 through 3. I love each one of those for different reasons. I think they're all wonderful. Let's see, Dress to Kill, I mentioned, not quite a slasher, more thriller, but it's, I don't know, they get slashed up pretty good in that. Let's see, obviously Halloween is wonderful. Let's see what other, we talked about Chainsaw. I love, I guess Jolly is its own list, but Blood and Black Lace and Twitch of the Death Nerve are both big ones for me. I love those.
Wow.
Oh boy, I like Just Before Dawn. That's a fun one.
Yeah, good one.
Twins. Yeah. You mentioned
the kill at the end, man.
Yeah.
Right.
That was sort of a half nod that I did in MLKT, where she rips the tongue out instead of being able to put the whole arm down the throat.
Right.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Alice, Sweet Alice. I like Curtains is a good one. Let's see, boy. I'll keep thinking. Oh, when it comes to like our franchise, Halloween 1. I have a soft spot for Friday the 13th 5, A New Beginning.
Nice.
Which is not a popular opinion, but
we like it too.
I like that, and I like 3D are my favorites of the Friday movies.
Nice.
Let's see, what am I missing here? Black Christmas, great one. There's a few to get you started.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's funny because you mentioned quite a few that we've done on this series, like Curtains, Blood and Black Lace. Help me out here, Coriander.
Dress to Kill, you did.
Just to Kill, Just Before Dawn. Yeah. Which, by the way, and I know I always reference this, but it's so true. That was a case in point of a movie that we watched the first time, and it just didn't click with us. Just being honest, it just didn't click with us. And we were going to do the episode. We usually watch, or rewatch the movie, a few days before we do the episode. And I think I said to Coriander, so let's just try it again and see what we think. And then the second time, it was a totally different experience. And now we love the movie.
Right.
Who knew?
I know.
And I
I
love
know
Greg
that you
Henry
would.
too. Going to the De Palma stuff, I love Greg Henry, and he's
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so, that's the great thing about movies too, is that, you can really connect with movies, and then sometimes it's just an interesting thing that happens and it can change, and it's art.
Mm.
It's art. So that's
yeah,
how
it's
art is.
fluid. Yeah, you're a
Yeah.
totally different person. If I pulled out, one of these now, it'd probably feel totally different than I did at the time. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Coriander, how about you, as far as any type of movies that come to your mind that are either inspirational as far as slasher or favorites or what have you?
Well, for slasher, I like, 70s, 80s a lot, like The Prowler.
Oh yeah, Prowler's
Mm-hmm.
good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one. I like, My Bloody Valentine, Happy
Oh,
Birthday to Me.
Mm-hmm.
there you go. I
And
see. Cheers. Oh, sorry, Corey. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
no,
just
go
said I
ahead.
saw Cheers to Fear said, "Do you have a favorite Canadian slasher?" And you just said it. My Bloody Valentine is pretty great.
Ooh,
Nice.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, and of course, I always say with Happy Birthday to Me, I always been a fan of Little House, and the fact that little Mary Ingalls is in that
Right.
movie, I just love. And
Mm-hmm.
God, there's just so many,
Yeah.
And Toolbox Murders, that was one
Sure.
we just redid.
Mm-hmm.
Sisters, those are
Oh
all
yeah.
like really great, great movies.
I just
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember
man.
loving the VHS cover to Happy Birthday to Me when I was a kid with the shish kebab.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here it is. There it is, baby.
Hey!
There.
Yeah.
Man, I remember going to a
Nice.
Blockbuster. I kid you not. I went to a Blockbuster and I was a little kid getting into horror. I saw the cover for that and I was like,
Gotta see that shit.
wow. Right? Yeah, man. It was a special time back then. I mean, we've talked about that multiple times on this channel, about how back then, because you didn't have access to everything whenever you wanted it, it was truly like, okay, an experience. Let's check this out and
Yeah,
see what
look
we
at that
think.
cover. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
those covers back then, man, they
Yeah,
brought
they
you
drew
in.
you in. They
yeah.
did.
The other, and it was one
Yeah.
of those oversized VHS covers that I always remember, was 3 on a Meat Hook. That one had a great cover.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
I noticed you just
Oh,
did
man.
Day of the Animals the other day, so I think 3 on a Meat Hook is William Girdler as
Yes.
well.
Man, Day
Yeah.
of the Animals,
And
holy shit,
Grizzly.
man.
Race with the Devil. That's
Oh yeah.
another
Yes.
good one.
You
Yeah.
like Race for the Devil,
Oh yeah, you
Drew?
betcha. You
Oh
betcha.
man, you're
Nice.
all right. Well, let me just say this, and this was not meant to be like an episode where we, boast about our previous episodes. But
Go for it.
a lot of these
Yeah.
movies we've talked about, we have done episodes on, and it's so
Yeah.
great. Obviously our audience is a fantastic, but it's so great when you talk about like some of these movies that some of these movies aren't Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween or Friday 13th. They're much more lesser known, or they come back, or they're back from the old days, so to speak.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
our audience loves these things. It's great to hear that you do too. I mean, because we do, and that's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that's part of the passion, man.
And I just
Right.
see Scream Rad just mentioned one of my favorite movies too there. Peeping Tom, Michael Powell's film, is awesome. So
Ooh,
love
yes,
that.
yes. Absolutely, absolutely. Cheers to Fears, by the way, is a great channel as well. Great to see you guys. Saying
And
nice.
Nia,
We did a video on that movie. My Bloody Valentine is a fun one. It
Yeah.
is.
and I see Neon Black here. Where do I stand on Madman? Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my
Dun,
god.
dun, dun, dun,
Okay. Now
dun, 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 dun.
listen. Now I'm gonna put Coriander on the spot here right
Oh
now.
God,
And she
no.
knows. Well, hey, people know, man. We did the episode. All right, so look, we watched
Yeah.
Madman. I didn't remember it. I remembered the name, but I didn't remember the movie. So we watched it, and of course, the music comes on or whatever. And I'm kind of grooving to it. And Coriander's like, what is going on? I mean,
Who's the Madman Mars?
yes,
Dun, 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 dun.
she's
Oh
about to get
man.
off.
No.
No, I'm just
It's
playing. I'm
different
just
when
playing.
someone else is doing it.
Oh,
That was
okay.
pretty good.
You're so cute. But Madman was one of those movies that I think, for me, it had some things I really enjoyed, but it had some things that were just like, man,
Yeah,
I wish they could have gone further, with it. And of course, it is what it is, but we had fun on that episode. We
and,
really did.
and speaking of theme songs, I also love the ballad. I forget the name of the town, but the ballad from My Bloody Valentine is pretty great.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Absolutely. Yes. Russell saying a question for Drew. Is there any new projects that you have
Yeah.
planned?
It's a good
Well, I'm
one.
always writing, so the question is always finding the money to
Nice.
make these things. So yeah, but yeah, the new
Mhm.
one I was sort of talking with Knight about it the other night. It's sort of a riff in the way that MLKT is a riff on the slasher genre. This one is sort of a riff on the true crime genre, but with the same
Nice.
sort of absurdist sense of humor. So I'm working on that
Hmm.
now.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And we also have coming in with a question, Kirby saying, thank you, Drew. How long have you been directing?
Well, that's the thing. Like I told you, the day I got the camera, I started doing it. And so I was that kid that was always having his friends over to like be in my movies and stuff. And of course, getting really upset when they wanted to play video games or do something else. I'm like, we have to finish this first.
Right.
I was that kid. And
That's
then
awesome,
Oh.
man.
I actually made my first feature I made in like 7th grade. It was a James Bond movie. You can imagine how great that is.
Do you still have it?
Oh, Joe, well, you just wait.
Oh, nice.
And it's a 2-taper.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That
I
is
did the
so
artwork.
Oh,
cool.
that's
Yeah, I
cool.
played the bad guy in that, and I
Nice.
think I was obsessed with The Godfather and Scarface at the time, so I thought it'd be super cool to have a 2-taper. So
That's
it's
cool.
just totally unwatchable,
Oh,
but it's
I doubt
3
that. I
hours of
bet
totally
that's
unwatchable.
fun.
Oh my
No.
God.
Yeah.
Too funny. Too funny.
And then, I should just say, and then, yeah, I did 2 features in high school, one sophomore year and one senior year. The senior year one was basically a remake of Frenzy.
Oh
Because
gosh, nice.
And then I went to film school and actually did a couple of features there. They were much more in like the comedy vein. And then
Really?
MLKT came out in what, 08 or 09, and that was my first official one. And Rondo, like 10 years later, not because I'm Stanley Kubrick, but because it takes a while to find the money to do anything. So.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Um, and kind of going off of that, Dan was saying, were there any mishaps or crazy things that happened during the shoot?
Oh, and MLKT, geez. Well, yeah, I guess it kind of there was always like something every day. There'd be something. It's just the way it goes. I remember one day it'd be like chasing a little kid out of the room because someone couldn't find a babysitter when you're spraying blood everywhere, or
Mm,
of course you have like all these, not a bunch of people by any means, but the whole cast or whatever with like one toilet, so it was someone was always unclogging the toilet or something, it was stuff like that. One time the cops came and we had to explain to them, why there's this big guy with an axe running around. And, but they were cool. They were cool. They're like, "Do you need any cops in your movie?" We're like, "Well,
Oh, nice.
yeah." So, but nothing too crazy.
wow.
Nothing too crazy.
Oh, that's cool,
It's
man.
funny.
That's cool. All right. Let's see. Omni saying, I had a question for Drew. What's the best obscure horror slasher that you've seen that is a must watch?
Oh boy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow,
What
that is a
would you call obscure? What do you think? Help me out here, Knight.
well, I guess it would be something that is God, man. Even
Is
thinking about it like that is kind of weird to I think it would be just something that's not very commercial.
mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be something like, like we said earlier, like a Halloween or Texas
Right,
Chainsaw.
right.
It'd be something like Intruder. To me, like
Oh yeah,
Intruder is an obscure horror movie.
that one
Um,
works.
yeah.
Let's see. Absurd is pretty ridiculous.
Ooh.
Let's see. I guess I can't call Mario Bava obscure, but I love Bay of Blood, Twitch of the Death Nerve. That's a great one to check out
Yes.
if you haven't. So I'll go with that
Mhm.
one.
Nice. Okay. And
Yeah.
Coriander, you're a big fan of Bay of Blood. Actually, we've been talking about doing that as an episode because
Yeah.
she kind of got me into that one. And I was like, holy shit, man, this movie is amazing. It
Yeah.
really, really is.
And you're like, then you start looking at Friday 2 sideways. Like,
Right? Well, it's funny because like for me, I just love movies, and obviously Coriander does too. And there's so many different angles to our fandom for movies. Like, I absolutely love, I mean, I've got the box set right here from Scream Factory. I absolutely love the Friday the 13th franchise because it really was integral into getting me into horror as a 6 or 7 year old kid.
sure.
But you got movies, like A Bay of Blood or like
Mm.
Dress to Kill and so many others that,
Mm.
they're a lot more
Invasion of the Body
complex.
Yeah,
Snatchers.
exactly. Or
Yes,
they're by major
1978.
And they're right, and they're by major directors. That's the other thing. Directors with very strong point of views. So that makes all the difference in the world. The other thing about the Fridays, and I think why it probably got a lot of people into it, is the crowd experience with the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Going to see those as a little kid. I think the first one I saw in the theaters was 5. Maybe that's why I had a sentimental spot. But every one of those going to see in the theaters, and it was just such a raucous thing. One of my favorite. Going to see a movie in the theaters is 3D is just awesome. I've been lucky enough to see that a couple times in 3D now, and that is just a hoot. The crowd goes nuts. And
yes,
it's a fun experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. Enlightened Kid is in the chat too, saying he knows you're alone. Yeah, that was a fun episode too, man. God, I can't believe we've done so many episodes in this thing. Really, it's crazy. Jason saying Peeping Tom was awesome. Yes. Polar saying loving how they're vibing over favorite movies. That's what it's like, man.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right?
It is, man. It really, really is.
I see Neon Black say don't go in the house. That's a good one.
Oh, now here's a good question for you. Now, and of course, this is not any type of test or whatever, but we did a movie. We did an episode on a movie called "Don't Go in the Woods Alone." Have you seen that?
I did a while ago. I remember it not being very good.
He passed. Wow.
Okay, I wanted to be nice, but
No, and let me just say, and one thing I do want to say, and Drew was very kind about this. As far as when we talk about our movies for episodes, we do try to be, fair and thoughtful and understanding that anyone that does a movie, it's
just as hard to make a bad one as a good one, right?
Yeah. So when we saw Don't Go in the Woods, there were things that we enjoyed, because we're obviously huge fans of movies that take place in the woods and so forth. So there was some good things about it, but there were some things that was really, again, just missed opportunities and frustrating. But yeah, I was just curious what you thought of it, because it was one of those movies where I think obviously there were budget things going on, and it just didn't turn out as good as it could have been.
But can I say this? And one thing I hear, you hear this a lot with lower budget movies, horror, any genre, is they always use the money as an excuse. And yeah, you can't do a lot of crazy stuff without the money. But I always say it doesn't cost you anything extra to have an eye, to like set up a nice looking shot. That doesn't cost anything. So I really have very little patience for ones that look real bad, or just like the effort isn't there, and the effort doesn't cost anything. So maybe when I am hard on a movie, it's because of something like that, and especially before MLKT, where I was just watching every slasher movie in the book. After a while, you can get pretty jaded. And so, yes, there were definitely some I outright just hated. And Don't Go in the Woods Alone is definitely not at the top of my list.
Nice. Sorry
about that. I got frozen.
Yeah, you did.
I know. Hey, what's up, Blackest Eyes too? How's it going? Good to see you. Now here's the other thing, because I also want to kind of move to Rondo as well. And also, hey to Master Chaos in the chat, my good friend Master Chaos, who's also a filmmaker. We've just been so lucky in this community. So many talented people. And I'll catch you tomorrow night too, bro. Good to see you, man. We got a chance to see Rondo because Drew was gracious enough to give us access to it, and we had no idea what we were getting into, except for the
nobody
fact
does,
right? except for the tagline. What was the tagline? It was sex, murder, revenge. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It's about as complicated as it gets.
Right. So in my mind, I kind of had, kind of an idea of maybe some things that you might have been pulling from. And man, it was a pretty darn good movie, man. We both, I remember we finished it, and I looked over to Corey and was like, so what'd you think? She was like, yeah, that was good. And I'm like, yeah, that's all right, man. And, and again, it's a movie that we may not have gotten a chance to check out if we hadn't made this connection. But for you, because it was years after Murder Loves Killers too, what was your thought process? Because it's obviously different. It's riffing off of, it's not riffing off a slasher, So what was your thought as far as getting into something like Rondo?
Well, it's funny. It started much the same way as MLKT did, and where I had a friend who let me use his place. And so it was like, write a script tailored to the locations that you have. But of course, obviously, it was at a different place, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go full De Palma on this, and then just start riffing off the thriller, the so-called erotic thriller, that kind of thing, and again, smear your sense of humor all over it, and just got to pull out a lot of some of my favorite De Palma type tricks and Hitchcock type tricks, and of course, throw in some Verhoeven in the squibs. That's for sure.
Yes. Oh my God. When I saw, it's so funny because when I saw that, for whatever reason, Total Recall kept coming into my mind.
The guy on the escalator.
Yes. When Arnold uses him as a shield and stuff.
Shield guy.
I'm like, oh my God. But it was really cool.
And one of my favorite scenes of any movie ever is Ed 209 in the boardroom.
Yes.
So we actually told the effects guys when we did the first squib, it was like a regular squib hit, and we were like, oh. Can we go bigger? We want Verhoeven squibs. So then they were like doubling and tripling up all the squibs. So it was obviously what you saw is like the Bellagio or something.
Nice. Yeah. Very, very cool. I love it. I love it. We got Movie Chat in the chat saying, have you guys ever seen Dead End with Ray Wise and Lin Shaye? I haven't. And I love Lin Shaye. What year is that from? Because I know there's a Lin Shaye movie that came out not too long ago that I've been trying to catch up with, but I haven't yet. But let us know what year that's from, because I absolutely love Lin Shaye. She's just fantastic. She really, really is.
And I have not seen that one either.
Yeah, yeah. Extron saying, Drew, how do you feel about Drew Barrymore as an actress?
Love her.
I like that.
Actually got to meet her. She came to our class once in the film school, and she was awesome. Just such a cool lady. Yeah, she was great. So I love Drew.
She seems like such a cool person.
Yeah, cool, down to earth. Yeah, exactly.
That is so cool, man.
She was awesome. And sometimes just to get pumped up, I'll play the Tangerine Dream from the end of Firestarter. Like, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Now, okay, so now we're going down that road. Are you? So I'm assuming you're a fan of the original Firestarter.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the remake?
I did not.
Okay, me neither.
I know that Carpenter did the music, though, right?
I think that's what I heard. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
but that original, I dig it.
I love that finale when she's just blowing everyone up with shooting rockets and everything else. And plus, it features like one of my all-time favorite actors in George C. Scott. So I'll see anything with him. So.
Yes.
My other favorite movie is probably Dr. Strangelove. It's like so that's like 3 that are my all-time favorite movies by my count.
George C. Scott was just such an amazing talent, man. I absolutely loved him in his movies. And one movie that we haven't gotten a chance to talk, well, actually a couple, but one that we've been kind of toying around with for an episode at some point is The Changeling.
Oh yeah, I love George C. in that. Yeah,
man, the movie creeped me out so bad as a kid. I'm telling you, and it's still creepy. Oh my gosh. Let's see, Omni in the chat saying, "Whoa, Night! I just realized you're already almost at 8K." At 8K, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate the support so much. Conrad saying, question for Drew: what is that moment in horror that really shocked you?
Shocked me. Ooh, that's a good one. Geez, what's something that got me? Maybe the very first time I saw a chainsaw, probably the when he comes out and wallops the guy. That was like a holy shit moment. That's for sure.
Yeah, very visceral, man. That scene still rocks.
Yes.
Wow.
It holds up. It's a good
picture. It does, man. Good question. Thank you so much, Conrad. Extron saying, Drew, what's your least favorite horror movie? Oh
boy. Let's go with the Chainsaw remake. I cannot stand that movie, but I have other reasons. Just because it's like traipsing on sacred ground. So.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I get it, no doubt. Blackest Eyes saying, I'm the real Black as Eyes on another account. Oh, okay. All right, man. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Jamie said, my first Friday movie in the theater was Part 5 too. Best time I ever had at the
Totally.
theater.
Yeah.
Very, very
Nice.
cool. Very,
And
very
that's
cool.
oh, and that brings it to an obscure one. All right. Because that director, if you read, Crystal Lake Memories, they just ripped that guy up one side and down the other, which cracked me up. I was like, this guy's
Yes.
after my own heart. So I actually love his other two movies a lot. One is Savage Streets with Linda Blair.
Yep.
Love that movie. And the obscure slasher, The Unseen. Perfect name for an obscure slasher.
Yeah, I never saw that one. Oh, wow.
The last act of The Unseen is truly insane.
Wow.
Not something that would happen in any movie today or ever again.
Wow. Okay. I'll have to put that on the list.
Yeah, to go back a few questions. There you go. There's an obscure slasher. So.
You've got me intrigued.
That's very cool.
It stars like Barbara Bach. So.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. That's on the list. And Val's in the chat, the general herself. Great to see you, Val. We're here hanging out with Drew and talking about his process as a filmmaker. And like I said, I'll say it again. Who would have thought we would talk about a movie and then we get contacted by the director? It's absolutely crazy.
That's cool.
Crazy, I'm like, who would have thought someone saw Murder Loves Killers too?
Too funny. Cheers to
It's a good movie, so I think you'd be surprised at probably how many people have seen it.
Well, it's great because that one I never got the festival experience, or I never got to see that one with an audience at all. So the only feedback I have is sort of the few reviews that pop up here and there. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that someone saw these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Absolutely. Cheers to Fear saying, have you ever seen The Editor from 2014? It may not be considered a straight up slasher, but it's certainly Giallo inspired.
I have not.
I have not seen that. No. Yeah.
Is it good?
I was just about to say, yeah, if it's good, let us know, and I'll definitely put that on my list too. And speaking of which, if you guys do have suggestions for movies, as always, definitely put them in the comment section because I love to go back and add things to my watch list. And who knows, we might do an episode on it, Let's see. And we also
Biggest shock and horror ending of Sleepaway Camp from Wayne Tanner. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right? Oh my God, I still remember that one. Let's see. Kirby coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kirby. Much appreciated.
Nice.
And the question here is, everyone on the panel, pick which one you like more, the Black Phones or Halloween Ends.
This one's an easy one for me, but go ahead.
Oh my God. Wow.
I need to think about it for a minute.
Well, geez, what do you guys think?
Well, for me, this one's easy. I'm going Halloween Ends all day on this one.
Okay.
I'm a David Gordon Green fan, and I liked what he did with that. I know that's probably not a popular opinion either, but I like that one. So.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I'm gonna have to go with you too because I loved how Jamie was in this movie, how we actually saw her in a different light, and like you, I loved what he did with all three of these movies, and yeah, I would have to agree with Halloween Ends. Yeah.
Night.
Well, for me, it's really tricky, man, because all three of these movies are different from each other and have merit. Because I really did enjoy The Black Phone, and Smile was such a huge surprise. It really was. Sosie Bacon, I thought, was fantastic in it. But Halloween Ends, man, it was the culmination of this journey. And on this channel, we followed that journey so much going through this new trilogy. I probably would have to say Halloween Ends, man. It was just, we got to the end of it, and it was almost like you run in that marathon and you finally got there. So,
and it goes back to what we were talking about before with the director who has a strong point of view, and I think David Gordon Green is that. You can just feel his sensibility all over it, even though it's a franchise. So
yeah.
And hey, if you're talking kills, that DJ kill's pretty awesome.
Oh man, that was crazy. I remember in the theater there were audible gasps, like, oh man, But the thing of it too is, very similar to like Halloween 3, which as a kid I was not a big fan of whatsoever.
Right.
And when I grew up, when I was in my late teens, I tried it out again and fell in love with it, and I still love it to this day. I think Ends. And we're going to be talking more about that as well. I'm sure a lot of folks probably wonder, more of our thoughts on it, because we kind of took a break because we followed Halloween, for months and months and months and months through these movies. But I think with Ends, it's going to have that type of trajectory as well. People are going to start to kind of open up more to what David was trying to do with it.
Yeah, now that they understand it's not what they were expecting, or was different from what they were expecting, and now they can approach it on its own terms.
Yeah, no doubt at all. That was a great question, Kirby. Thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. No doubt at all.
Oh, I see Scream Rad mentioning Tenebrae. There you go, one of my favorites.
Oh, that is one of your favorites. It is. We did an episode.
I
on
love
that as
the
well.
cover of that one.
Oh yeah, with the
yes, the colors in it. Oh my gosh, it was just absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Let's see. Extron said, I asked that question on purpose, but that's awesome that Drew got to meet Drew. very much so. That's very cool, man. Jason saying, 2 of my most memorable movie theater experiences was with Dressed to Kill and Friday 13th 3D. I still have the red and blue glasses. That is cool, man. Wow.
I second those.
Yes. Let's see. I want to catch up. I know I'm way behind on you guys here. Nathan saying, any fans of X-Ray, also known as Hospital Massacre? That's one that I haven't seen in so long. And actually, I was putting on the list. Yeah. It's really, yep. Let's see. Jamie saying Halloween Ends rock. Totally agree. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
And what was it? Evil never dies. And what I say to David Gordon Green's movie, Zooms never die. David Gordon Green is wearing out that zoom lens. I love it.
That is true.
Like
man.
Rondo was my Zoom movie.
Yeah. Neil saying, Drew, as a director, what do you think of more extreme films like Marion Dorff's films, for instance?
And what is Marion Doran done? I'm sorry if I'm
not sure.
Not familiar. I'm sorry to let you down.
Yeah, let us know, Neil, because like I said, Neil watches tons of stuff. Oh my gosh, seriously. Let's see. Cheers to Fear saying, I personally hated Halloween Ends. I was let down by it, but I am glad that some others got something out of it, but it wasn't for me. Yeah, it was pretty divisive, man. We had a lot of interesting conversations in this community, not just on this channel, but other channels about, what people thought of it. But I really do think it's going to have an interesting trajectory like Halloween 3. I really, really do.
And boy, that score for Halloween 3, I still have that on my writing mixes. That's for sure. It's a great Carpenter score.
Wow, it is, man. It is. Oh my God, it's so true, so true. Omni saying Ends will age well.
I agree.
Yep,
I think so. Green Gay saying Halloween Ends is worse than Resurrection. I don't know about that.
Slow down.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. But you know what though? We've done this series called the Sins Edition, and we did talk about, and it's kind of where we're having fun with movies that we love, talking about the ups and the downs and so forth. And we did a really fun episode on Halloween Resurrection, and I kid you not, man, it was fun. I mean, they were trying to do something specific. To me, it just didn't work. There were some good things in it, but some missed opportunities as well.
So that
Michael being one.
Well, I just thought that they characterized him in a certain way that just didn't fit with the other movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's literally in a house with people that didn't know he was there, and he wasn't killing. He was just hanging out, getting punked out by Busta Rhymes.
He was peeping. Yeah.
Come on.
And one thing I can't stand, you see it in more of these, like the Chainsaw remake or the Rob Zombie movies or whatever. I just don't like this trend of making everyone a hulking WWE muscle man, kind of thing.
Right. Fact, because
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, in fact, my favorite Michael moment in the Gordon Green trilogy is actually in Halloween Kills, when it's the flashback and he's more slight and slender. And I was like, that's scarier to me. It's just scarier to me if it seems like here's this, real dude, really, and not a hulking behemoth.
Right. That's what I've said quite a bit, because as much as there's some merit to like the zombie movies, but Tyler Mane is like 80,000 feet tall. Like, he should kill everyone. Like, how could he not kill everyone? Like, I'd call him a punk.
He was at a Rock and Shock one year, and He is fucking huge. The size of his hand, like, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
how I
so
felt
it's
about
like,
was it Brian Arsky as Leatherface? Just awful. I mean,
yeah,
and the ridiculous mask they put. I mean, it betrayed everything about the character, and that kills me. So back to my most hated horror movie.
I love it. I love it. Jason saying, thank you, Drew, Coriander, and Knight, for your comments on Halloween Ends. Up to today, I felt so alone in my love for this film and for David Gordon Green. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the community definitely, there was a divide. But, it's just like anything else. If I say Friday the 13th is my favorite horror franchise, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the live chat that'll say their favorite horror franchise is something else. But that's fine, That's just...
Forgive me, because you've probably answered this question a million times, but what is your favorite Friday?
My favorite Friday is the final chapter, but 1 through 8, especially,
the Paramount years.
Yeah, the Paramount years, I could literally, and over the years, I've kind of shifted, a couple of them here and there. When I was a kid growing up, I watched 3 and 6 more than 4. And 5
I love 5.
has ritten up the ranks for me. I was just talking about this. Yeah, I was just talking about this with my buddy Michael last night on his channel. But 5, it is a great Friday 13th movie. We know it's Roy, but other than that,
Revenge Roy.
But other than that, it's a good Friday the 13th movie, and you've got really great characters.
And I loved it by you're at that point in the series that it's the characters thing. It's like they're so strange and out there. Like every small character, it's so over the top, and that's kind of why I like that director, because God knows, what they were doing on set. Crystal Lake Memories can give you a hint of that, but every character is so off the wall that I love that. And I love that it's Roy.
Yes, absolutely. Good old Roy. Neil was saying Dora directed Cannibal and Melancholy Durango. I haven't seen those.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar.
Yeah,
sorry to let you down.
Yeah, wow. You'll have to cue me in on that, Neil, because I know you've got a huge knowledge of movies too. Very, very cool. Let's see. Extron saying Halloween 3 is greater than Halloween Ends. Yeah, I
can get with that.
Yeah, I can see that. And let's also do this too. Oh, and Wayne saying, sadly, got to get back to work. Thanks everyone in the chat, Drew, Coriander, and Knight. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate you hanging out with us.
Thanks,
Have
Wayne.
a good one.
Yeah, we're gonna be winding down soon, but thank you for hanging out with us for all this time, Wayne. We really appreciate it, and especially since you're at work. Green Gay is saying, Knight, ever seen Motel Hell from 1980? Yes.
Sure.
Yes,
we did. Fritters.
That's right. We did a watch party for it, and it was hilarious. We do watch parties too, which is always a fun experience, because we watch it live, with the audience, and that was a fun one.
Rory Calhoun is fun. He's fun in Angel as well, if you're a fan of the Angel movies.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and that's right. We get some Cliff Clavin in that one too, right?
Yes, when I saw him, I was like, "That's Cliff." It's great, man. It's great. Miss Carter saying, "Hell yeah, Wayne! I'll take Resurrection over Ends any day of the week." Wow. All right. Okay. All right.
I see Blackest Eyes with a shout out to Violet, Tiffany Helm.
Yes.
With her dance.
Oh my God.
But to awesome. Let's see, that Pseudo Echo song, His Eyes.
Yes.
There's a man with no life in his eyes.
That's like one of those songs that always kind of rings in my head, because I just love those movies so much, man.
When you got you got Alice Cooper from 6, right? And
yes, the man behind the mask.
That's right.
I've got that on vinyl, man. I love that soundtrack.
The video's pretty great too when Jason comes bursting through the screen.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, look, as we wind down here, one thing I did want to do real quick that might be a little bit fun. We'll see. But I'll throw this out to both of you guys. Coriander, I'll start with you, and then to Drew. This is just a question I have. It's not a right or wrong answer, but it is what it is. Okay, so you can keep one, you can borrow one, and destroy one. And the 3 choices are Psycho, Halloween 78, or TCM, the original. Okay, Coriander, which one are you going to keep? Which one are you going to borrow? And which one are you going to destroy? I'm just curious.
What the hell? Why did you have to pick these 3 movies?
Because I wanted it hard. I
This is so
know.
not cool.
I know.
Exactly, man.
I know.
All right.
I love you guys.
I would keep Psycho, borrow TCM, and destroy Halloween.
What?
John Carpenter's Halloween.
What? Blasphemy! No, I'm just joking. I'm just totally joking.
That is just totally
You
not cool,
asked the
Mike.
damn question, man.
Wow. Okay, how about
What
you?
kind
How
of
about for you,
sick
Drew?
twist are you?
I know, man. I know. But I have
Okay.
sometimes people from the audience ask me these type of questions, so it's like I got to be able to ask them too.
I'm gonna keep Texas Chainsaw. I'm gonna borrow Psycho, and I'm gonna destroy Halloween. It kills me to say it.
Wow.
I love all three of those movies. There's three masterpieces right there.
They are.
All
They
right.
truly.
So now I don't feel so bad, damn it.
They truly are. And obviously for you guys in the audience, you guys can answer this too. All right. So for me, oh man.
I like
Dang,
Neon's
man.
response there.
Oh man. I think yeah, Neil says keep TCM, borrow Halloween, and burn Psycho, but not my other copy of it. Oh, he's
Cheater.
good, man. He always knows what to do. Geez, man. I gotta go. I gotta keep Halloween, borrow TCM, and destroy Psycho. And I love Psycho. I know. But listen, I'm basing it on like the rewatchability and my connection to all three of these movies since I was a little kid. Because I'm a
watchability. Oh, come on. I would just stop talking while you can. No.
Right? It's tough though, man. But I do love Psycho. And maybe for another episode, we can talk more about this because I've said it many times. But Psycho 2,
I love it.
Might be, you know, I might enjoy that more than the original because Anthony Perkins, man, he was kicking it in Psycho 2,
those
man.
Mother and daughter duo, those bitches were pissing me off, man. Oh my God.
Miles, it's great. And I'm a Richard Franklin fan too. Do you guys like Road Games or Martin?
Yes, we did an episode on Road Games.
And I also have a soft spot for Link. It's a great Jerry Goldsmith score that's also in my writing mix.
Nice. Oh man, Goldsmith is amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy because Bernard Herrmann is one of the greatest scores of all time in Psycho. And so Psycho 2, Goldsmith doesn't even try to imitate Herrmann's strings. He just goes a completely different direction. And then Psycho 3 is one of Carter Burwell's early scores, and he goes a different direction than Goldsmith. And I don't know, I love all three of those Psycho movies.
Yeah, man, me too. You know, it was.
I like all of them.
Yeah,
I really do.
We talked about those movies, and it was so much fun.
In Psycho 3, you got Jeff Fahey doing the lamp thing.
Yeah, Fahey was a piece of crap in that movie, wasn't he? Oh my God, I loved it though. It was good stuff, man.
Oh, and there we go. Call back to Friday 5. We get Juliette Cummins getting killed in the phone booth in Psycho 3.
Yes, that's true. Yep.
And also true. Slumber Party Massacre 2, another one she's in.
Yep, Slumber Party Massacre. Yep, absolutely. Oh man, some good memories. Hey, what's up, horror gang? Omni said, "No coriander." Oh my, it's tough, man. It's tough with those three movies, but I just wanted to throw that out there for the fun of it. Polar says, "Wow." They're three classics, man. It's not fair. It really is. Nathan saying the same thing. Yes.
To keep with Dress to Kill and stuff, Psycho 2 also features an appropriately sweaty Dennis Franz, which is awesome.
Right? Oh my God, man. Was he a piece of work, man?
Mr. Toomey. Mr. Toomey.
Yes, Toomey, yes.
Oh come here to have a good time. What do yours get, Bates? Dead. That's what they get. Murdered by you, you loony.
Yeah, loony. Yeah. He was great, man.
Nice.
Oh my God. Hey, what's up? Good to see you guys. So many people have jumped in here, but as we start to wind down here, because obviously, Drew, I know we've gone over an hour, but
it's been fun.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to just reference something else too, because you gave me a chance to check out Herbie, which was a short. I did, man, and I didn't tell you. I didn't tell you when we were talking. So I wanted to save it here, man, because you talked about how you were your original and correct me if I'm wrong, but your original intent was to make it into a full-length feature. Man, I wish you could have done that.
No
That was
kidding.
good.
And it was very Psycho inspired. Like Herbie was going to be our Norman
Yes.
Bates, where our like Marion Crane type character shows up at the house and then gets
Yes.
unceremoniously offed. And you've seen it. The actor Reggie DeMorton just is fantastic, and I wrote it for him, obviously. And that one like won a bunch of awards. It was my first exposure to the horror community, really, because I sort of went to all the horror festivals with that short, and it opened for Toby's Toolbox Murders, and like I was telling you, Night, that that night is one of the best nights of my life, because ended up staying out till like 4 a.m. in New York with Toby, and he was with Amanda Plummer at the time, and or at least that night, and talking to Toby all night was awesome, and he loved Herbie too, so I couldn't believe how generous he was with his time, and one of my favorite memories, and I love that guy.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
But yeah, Herbie was really, really cool, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just like really, really impressed with it, and I was thinking to myself, because you had already told me that you had hoped to make it into a full length, and then when I watched, I was like, oh my god, that would have been so good.
The feature was called Discombobulated. That was my joke on Psycho, or any Obsession, Psycho, Vertigo.
Yeah. Very, very cool, man.
And you saw in Herbie too, the leading ladies, now they're a pair in Rondo, are villains in Rondo.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and that was really cool too, because such a different take, because in Rondo, they were just an evil couple, obviously. But in this short with Herbie, she's, obviously, in some deep trouble, and he's portraying Herbie, who has a lot on his mind, I'll just say, for people, without spoiling it. Yeah, he does, right?
It was great because Jenna, who plays it, Jenna and Reggie hadn't seen each other since Herbie, when they finally both showed up on the Rondo set. It was very sweet. Good little reunion.
Nice. See, that's the type of thing that is really cool. Like I said to you when we were talking last night, is hearing some of these backstories, because it really gives you a better sense about the projects. You kind of see the inner workings, and you understand just all the little nuances. It's really, really cool. Very, very cool. And
I appreciate the interest at all. So someone actually is interested to hear about these things.
Hey man, we love movies. And speaking of which, Gina saying that she has to get to bed. She's on the other side of the pond, but Gina is actually one of our audience members that has referenced Murder Loves Killers 2 on multiple live streams. And it always just put a smile on my face, because again, part of our passion for this is passing on the information of movies that we check out to other people, and maybe introducing them to some new stuff. And case in point, so very cool.
Gina, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for watching and enjoying. I'm glad you got some enjoyment or some chuckles out of it, at least.
Absolutely, no doubt at all. And Conrad saying, I'll have to check out your movies out, Drew. Absolutely. And that was going to lead to my question, for people that do, want to connect with your work, is there any particular way that you would recommend them to do so?
Oh no, wherever you can find it, that's good enough for me. You can find both MLKT and Rondo on DVD or on different streaming platforms and stuff. They're out there.
Yeah. All right. Very, very cool.
I think MLKT is free on Tubi right now, but
yes,
Rondo you have to look a little harder for, but it's out there on whatever iTunes, wherever, YouTube, I'm sure. Probably on demand somewhere. I think Kino Lorber, maybe, or Kino Colt, one of those, but it's on DVD as well. If you want all those great special features, if you just can't get enough Drew talking.
I love it. Oh, and Black as I saying, do you like the RoboCop remake? I hate it.
Oh man, Blackest Eyes. I wouldn't even see that shit. There's no way, because Paul Verhoeven's one of my favorite directors, and RoboCop is one of my favorite movies. I mentioned earlier Ed 209. That scene is one of my favorite scenes. So yeah, I'm not even touching the RoboCop remake. It'll just make me angry, and life's too short.
Right.
I only have room for one RoboCop in my life, in my heart.
I know. What a classic movie. What a classic movie. Our good friend Jason's in the chat too, saying Phantasm is awesome. It is. It is. No doubt. Murder Loves Killers 2 is on Screambox and Tubi, I think. That's from Neil. All right.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
And hey, Jason, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. It takes a little more looking to find Rondo, but please go and check that one out. I'm kind of proud of that one. I know it's not for
That
everybody.
one was the fun one.
Yeah, I
The
like that.
Right.
ending, it was like, holy shit, man, badass.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Coriander. I really appreciate
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was
I like
really,
that
really
one.
cool.
As I joked with Guy, my producer, on that, that we know it's not for everyone. We just hope it's for someone, And
Right.
I say,
Right.
so who's it for? And I say it's for folks like ourselves, handsome, witty, and charming.
Yeah. And
There you
me.
go. Yeah, and me. And it
Right.
I kinda felt like there was some Tarantino
Yep.
vibes going on, I did, movies from that type of ilk, the exploitation type of stuff
Nice,
going
yeah.
on, and revenge thrillers
The
and
third act, yeah, the
Mm.
revenge third act definitely is from that ilk.
yeah.
And then, like we started this all off by saying, mixing up different things, like from different genres, like the dialogue in that is my poor man's, mammoth speak or whatever. Like
Mhm,
some
mhm.
critic mentioned, it's like, wow, the dialogue here's strange. It's like David Mamet describing a gangbang. I was like, that's a good
Oh
one.
my God.
Oh, man. No, but it was really, really cool. I'm so glad that we got a chance to see
Yeah.
that, and like I said,
Yeah.
that short for Herbie,
Mm.
man, that is really cool, man. I mean, I
You're
think
gonna
I
have
think
to
it'd be
show me that because I didn't see
I
that
will.
one.
Oh yeah, Coriander,
Yeah.
Yes.
check it out. Be curious to hear what
Yeah,
you
I'll
think
have to
about it.
show it to you.
I so
I think
want
it
to.
was
Yeah.
yeah, it was so cool, man. It really, really was. That'd be the type of thing too. Now, is that out, like, for streaming or
No, I
anything, or
wish it's
okay.
not. And
You know what you
uh,
should do? And I
package
was
that
thinking
on
about
some DVD or something. Or...
well, definitely you could do that, or even on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's obviously there's a lot of people on YouTube and content creators and people that use the platform
Sure.
to show and showcase their shorts.
And I
So
showed you that one little short with Reggie on YouTube, Reggie the Artist, that
yes.
little 2-minute number that's on YouTube.
Hmm.
It's called Reggie
Yes,
the
yes.
Artist. If you want a quick laugh, it's only two
Yeah,
minutes long. You'll like.
right. No, it's
Nice.
some really good stuff, man. Jason saying, Drew, you're now part of the Nightwatch Zone family. Respect, love, and much support coming your way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Oh, that's
Jason.
cool, man.
Appreciate it,
Thank
partner.
you. You guys are all right, man. So everyone giving a big thank
Right?
you. We appreciate that. Seriously. You guys always make this special. You really do. Val, thank you as well for giving
Yeah.
special thanks to Drew. We appreciate it. Um, so yeah, so we'll get ready to end up here. Drew, like I said, man, this was a lot of fun.
For
Hmm.
me too, Night.
Yeah, and I'm glad, and like I said, getting a chance to talk, behind the scenes, like what we were doing, was a lot of fun, and even last night, I was telling Coriander this morning, I said this is going to be a fun episode. I said because Drew was unloading, and it was
Nice.
really cool though. It was really cool because you were talking about like your mindset, like where you're coming from as far as a filmmaker, as far as a horror fan, as far as a movie fan, and even music. We were talking about music, and I was like, we were talking about Too Short and hip
Too
hop.
short, baby.
I was like, all right, this guy, he's in, he's all right.
This guy's kind of all over the place here.
But so am I, so is Coriander, and so many of us here in this community, we appreciate so many different things, which I love.
Hmm.
Variety is the spice of life. I
That's
really,
what we were
really
talking
love.
Yes.
about when you're doing a genre movie, bring all these
Yep.
different things into it. And for some people that's, jarring or something, but for others that are a little more, down with that
Open.
kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, look, like I said, man, we really appreciate the time. We definitely
Yes.
would love to have you come back on at some
Hmm.
point. Um,
You
I'm
got it.
definitely gonna, yeah, and I'm definitely, and also just to say as well, and not to put you on the spot, Drew, and Dan saying I can't wait to watch it now. Hell yeah, man. But not to put you on the spot too, Drew, but Drew reached out to me and we talked a little bit, and he was watching some of our stuff, and then I get a notification that says he becomes a channel member to the Nightwatch Zone, and I was just like,
Oh, that's
you've
awesome.
got to be joking me, man. That is
Oh,
absolutely bonkers crazy.
is that crazy?
So I mean, just in the sense that we truly appreciate all of the folks that are channel members, all the folks that come and watch us, every show that we do. So I also wanted to say a special thank you for that as well, because
course, man.
you know it helps to keep the lights on. It helps to keep us watching these movies from this book, which includes movies like yours. So thank you so much, bro.
Well, hey, both of you, Corey and I can't thank you guys enough. This has been a blast. And I've had a great time.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey, anytime. Thank you guys for having an open heart towards these movies. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And all you guys in the chat.
Thanks for creating them.
So, you guys are awesome too. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I'll hold you guys, have you guys hold on for a second once I'll put the outro out. So hold on for 1 second for you, Coriander and Drew. But for the rest of you guys in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And Ginger Ninja, thank you too. This was an awesome to catch. We appreciate you, bro. You guys are all right. Nice meeting you, Drew. Listen, come back to the replay, or once we're done this live chat, leave some comments for us, leave some comments for Drew, and definitely give the video a like. And yeah, we're going to bring them on back at some point. So keep a watch out. But either way, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out and good night.
Thanks, guys.
Upchurch.